Okay, so today we're talking to Carlyn Giuriceo. Carlyn lost 50 pounds. In this interview, we're going to tell you exactly how she did it. With no further ado, here's her introduction. All right, guys, today we're talking to Carlyn Giuriceo. She runs justkeepsweating.com, which is her blog/website, where she talks about recipes, workouts, and her weight loss story. And Carlyn, I'm excited to talk to you today because of this whole 50-pound weight loss thing. I think a lot of people are going to be like, how the heck do I do that?
It wasn't easy. It took a lot of time and a lot of dedication, but it's definitely achievable. Anybody can do it. I mean, I'm just a regular girl that had no desire to eat right, no desire to work out, and something in me just changed one day, and now that's all I want to do is work out and eat clean and eat as good as possible because I just feel better.
Mm-hmm. And what's it like now, before we get into like how you did this, but what's it like now compared to back then? You know, what are the differences for you that people might notice?
Well, lifestyle wise, like before I started, my now fiance and I, we live together in an apartment, and he works 12-hour shifts, and a lot of them were overnight. So I spent a lot of time by myself. And I can just remember, like, and he would work weekends and I would be by myself. And on the weekends that he was working, since we were like a half hour from family and friends, I would stay in bed, and I would eat and watch TV all day and all night. Like, that was all I did. I wasn't physically active, and I didn't think about it at the time, but that's exactly what I was doing. And I don't know if it was that I was unhappy, or I'm not sure what it was, but that's all I did. And that's really probably the worst thing you could do for yourself.
Okay, yeah, because like in a way it feels good to be lazy, but then at the end of the day or whatever, you look back and you're like, like I did nothing. Yeah,
well, I would spend so much, like I would look forward to napping. Like that was like the highlight. Like I'd be like, oh, like naps have always been big in my family. I don't know, it's just something that we've always done. But now that I've lost the weight and I work out mostly in the mornings, I find that I have so much energy, and even when I know I'm going out later that night and I had maybe a 2-hour workout in the morning, I can't even take a nap if I wanted to. And that's a huge change for me. Like that's a whole lifestyle change in itself.
And what about going out? Like, have you found there's a change in your confidence level?
Yes. Like before I lost the weight, I didn't realize how heavy I was. Like I would see pictures and people would say things like, they wouldn't be mean, but they would just say things like, you know, I've noticed that you've put on some weight, but not like you really need to lose weight. Like you are, you know, obese or overweight. And I would see it in the pictures and I would be unhappy, and through the joys of Facebook, I would just delete them and pretend it never happened.
Yeah.
Now when I go out, I have the camera. I'm always taking pictures. Like I love it. And that's why I put myself out on the internet. Like I'm comfortable with myself. So it definitely has been a huge confidence boost.
Okay, great. So what was it that like spurred you? Like, did you have any attempts where you tried to lose weight and then you put it back on, anything like that?
Yeah. I mean, throughout my whole life, I've always had like a battle with my weight. It's never been, oh, I'm really skinny. Oh, I'm not. Like I was always active in high school. I played a lot of sports. I never found one that I could stick with, so I get bored very easily. So I would just switch from team to team, and I never stuck with anything. And I was fortunate enough that I could eat what I wanted. I didn't have to watch what I ate and I wouldn't gain weight. And then in college, I would still eat that way, but I was even less active, and there was a lot more drinking, obviously, because it's college. And it just kept coming on more and more, and I don't know. I don't even know how it got to the point that it did without even realizing it. It got out of control really fast.
And was there like a moment where you're like, okay, like I have to lose this weight seriously? Like I'm going to take a serious attempt at it?
Yeah. It was December. It was my sister's 21st birthday. And we went out to dinner, my whole family and close friends. And I was sitting at the table, and I was completely miserable. I was just very unhappy, and I didn't know why at the time. I didn't know what was causing it. And then I saw we were all taking pictures, and my cousin showed me a picture of like a group of us together, and I could not believe how heavy I looked. And from that moment, I was like, that's it. January 1st, like everybody else, I'm going to set a New Year's resolution. I'm going to lose the weight. I can't do this to myself anymore. And that was it. I haven't looked back, and it's been 2 years.
Mm-hmm. And like around when was that you saw the photo?
It was December 21st, 2009. And I started January 1st, 2010. So it's been a very long journey.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's 7 o'clock.
Oh, sorry. I forgot to turn that thing off. Did you hear that?
Yeah.
It's like, it's 7 o'clock. Yeah.
Good thing we know what time it is.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'm going to silence that guy. Cool. So basically, like, take us through the next day after looking at that photo when you woke up. Did you start to take any action, or did you wait until January 1?
I mean, in my mind, it was, oh, the holidays are coming up. Oh, I know I'm going to eat. Oh, I know I'm going to drink. Because, I mean, even when I was at my heaviest, I'm very social. I have a huge family. And I don't like to and still now, I don't like to deprive myself. I am a firm believer in that. And I think that it's all about moderation. Mm-hmm. So I think I made slight changes, but I really didn't make a whole overhaul in my life until January 1st.
Okay. So you were realistic, knowing turkey and, like, all this. So January 1st comes around. What do you start doing? What changes?
The first thing that I did was I actually went online and I Googled free weight loss sites, and just to see what would come up. And I found something called Spark People. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like a Facebook, MySpace for weight loss. So you have like a profile and pictures and all that. And you have the option to either track your own calories that you eat, or they'll give you a meal plan, and it's completely free. And you choose how you want to eat and what you want to eat. And I did that, and I didn't do it the right way at first. I only let myself have 1,000 calories a day, which is really not ideal for anybody. So
yeah, you kind of like jumped into the deep end.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I lost 10 pounds really fast. And I was like, this is great. I can eat a little bit more now. Like, I've lost 10 pounds. Great. Like, whatever. And then I gained some weight back. And I wasn't really physically active at that time. And it wasn't until I moved back in with my parents in May of that year when I joined the local gym, when I started working out, and then I changed my eating habits. My eating habits have changed so much in the past 2 years, like different things I've tried.
Yeah.
And the fitness is really where everything changed.
Okay. Before we get there though, January to May, there's a lot of time in there. So, on the 1,000 calories a day, I'm assuming you felt pretty crappy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I felt good because I was losing weight, but I knew that I wasn't doing it the right way. I was eating 1,000 calories, but I was eating crappy 1,000 calories. Like, I only had 200 calories for breakfast. I can have this McDonald's meal for dinner. It's still in my calorie range. Like, and I think a lot of people think that way. Like, as long as I'm in my range, I could eat whatever I want. But it doesn't work. Like, I lost weight, but I put it back on so quickly because I wasn't doing it right. Mm-hmm. And I battled with that back and forth for a while, and I didn't understand it.
Okay, so you battled with that, sort of lose the weight, then put it back on, lose that until about May when you moved back home.
Mm-hmm. And that's when I joined the gym, and then I finally started working out.
Why'd you join a gym?
My sister went to the gym in town, and she was obsessed with the classes that she took. Mm-hmm. And she was 21 years old. She would stay in on Friday night to go to this gym class the next morning. She would stay in Saturday night to go to this specific gym class the next morning. Like, that was what she did. And I was like, if she could do that, like, there's a reason for that. There's something there that I'm missing, and I want to try it out. And I did. Mm-hmm. And it completely changed my life, taking this kickboxing class.
Yeah. Was there any sort of, because I have a younger brother, was there any sort of like sibling rivalry where you saw her like doing all this stuff and you were like, oh man, she's like starting to get into really good shape?
Yeah, I was extremely jealous. I mean, I was jealous of her dedication, her motivation, how strict she was. I mean, when she first started trying to lose weight, she also counted her calories, but she did it right, and she ate the right things. And the fact that she could stay in and be completely content with not going out and partying or hanging out with her friends just so she could go to the gym, that's what it was. Like, I was so angry with myself at that point that I wouldn't try it, that it just pushed me even further.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so take us through. You walk into the gym. Is this your first time ever being in a gym?
No. I mean, I had been a member of that gym in high school a few times, but
Yeah.
my town is very small. I graduated with 100 people.
Wow.
So the fact that my village is so small, I knew I would see people I didn't want to see. I knew that they would look at me and be like, "Oh my God, look at her. Like she's gained so much weight." And that scared me. Like I was so unhappy with myself, and I just was so afraid that other people were talking about me or would say things behind my back, or I wouldn't be able to keep up, that it kept me out of the gym for so long. And in turn, it was only hurting myself.
Yeah. So you walk into the gym. Take us through that.
I knew that the class was kickboxing, and I knew that the instructor was one of the favorites in the gym, and it was hard. Those are the only three things I knew. I stood in the very back corner of the back right corner, and my sister was in like the front left, right behind the teacher, and it's a huge room. And I was so far out of the back, like I was almost outside of the room. That's how far back I was, because I wanted an easy escape. Because I already went into it thinking, okay, I'm gonna do 10 minutes and I'm leaving, because that's what I do. I quit. I'm a quitter. I always have been. And we got through the first 15 minutes, and it was so many jumping jacks and jump lunges and stuff that like I never even encountered in my life, and I knew I couldn't do it. But my sister and my friend turned around and looked to see if I was still there, and I was like, you know what, suck it up, modify where you have to, and just do it. And I did, and I got through it. And from that moment on, I was like, I can do this. And I haven't stopped.
Okay. So were you pretty sore the next day?
Oh my God. I don't think that I walked right for like a week, and I'm not even exaggerating. Like I probably didn't go to the gym the next day or the day after and used my sore muscles as an excuse. But I had never felt, it was a good pain, obviously. Like I love that, but like I was so sore that I couldn't imagine doing it to myself again.
So what got you back there?
The fact that I made it through. The fact that I pushed myself through it, and I actually finished something that I didn't think I could start. And I know it's kind of silly because it's only a 60-minute cardio kickboxing class, but to me, it was a huge feat. Like I stuck it out and I got through it, and I wanted to see what else I could do.
So did you start going to those classes on like 3 a week, 4 a week? What was that like?
I remember when I first started, like my gym offers over 160 different classes a week, and it works for everybody's schedule. So I kind of stuck with kickboxing in the beginning, and I took that Sundays and Wednesdays. And then I added like a step class, which wasn't very advanced at all, but for me at the time it was. And I did that like 3 times a week. And then I was fine with that for a while. Like I just stuck with that. I was like, oh, 3 times a week, that's great. Like I'm so athletic now. I'm doing so much work. And it was a lot for me at the time. But slowly but surely, I met more friends in the gym, and they encouraged me to take more classes. And now I go like 6 times a week.
Okay.
So I worked my way up.
Yeah. So back then you were going to step class 3 times a week, and you were going to the kickboxing twice a week. And what was this is around May, June?
Yeah, I mean, well, actually, it was May. Yeah, it was around May or June. And then June, at the end of June, I was on my way to an interview, and I broke my ankle. So that took me out of the gym for the entire summer. And I was on crutches and in a cast, and mainly had to focus on just eating right. And that was a huge blow for me, because I was just finally getting into a routine and working out and increasing my stamina and just being happy being in the gym. And then I broke my ankle.
Yeah. And what was that like for the weight loss that you were going through?
I focused more on what I was eating, but I was so angry that this happened. And me personally, like I'm like, all right, whatever, screw it. I'm not going to eat right. I'm going to do whatever I want. I didn't gain anything back, thankfully. I don't know how I did that. Maybe because I was on crutches, so it was a lot of work. But I wasn't watching myself as much as I could, and I wasn't working out. And then I was on crutches until like September. So I had to like basically start all over again that September. Okay.
And like at this point, how much weight had you lost?
20 pounds.
20
maybe.
Pounds? Okay.
It took me a really long time, I think, because of how I was eating. I'm not really sure. But for someone like me, it's just really hard for my body to lose weight. Even if I made all these changes, it's so hard for me.
And what was your diet like, throughout the crutches days?
I was watching my calories, but again, I wasn't watching them strictly. So I was like as strict as I was in the beginning, where I was eating only 1,000 calories. I was probably eating around 1,600, which is normal, but I wasn't eating right. I was eating a lot of junk food, but I thought that if it was in my range, it was fine and I could do that. And it's not the way to go about it at all.
It's not the way to go, but for you at that time, it worked.
That's all I knew.
Okay.
It's all I knew. I mean, I hadn't found blogs or read anything about it at that point.
All right. So September comes, you're off the crutches, you can toss those away. What do you do next? You just jump right back into kickboxing?
I took a trampoline class, my first class back in the gym, a week after being off of crutches. I decided to sign up for a trampoline class. And I left there like feeling so defeated because one, my ankle hurt. Two, I couldn't keep up with anyone. I still can't do mini trampoline classes. I'm awful at them. But I just was beside myself, and I was talking to a few of my friends in the gym, and they were like, you can't let this get you down. You've been on crutches for 3 months. You haven't done anything really physically active, especially something like this. Like, it's just take a step back and don't worry about it. Build yourself up. And at that time, I was also in physical therapy because of my ankle, Yep. So I was doing like some exercises through them, and I couldn't deal with the fact that I wasn't supposed to do the workouts that I was doing before right away because you have to heal. But I didn't listen. I went right back to kickboxing the next day after the whole trampoline fiasco, and I made it through, and I was fine. I mean, I was in pain, but every single time I pushed through the pain, and I just got stronger. And then one day, a few weeks after that, my friend who I work out with all the time introduced me to the instructor who I take all of her classes. And she's like my inspiration at this point. She introduced me to her and told her a little bit about me. And she said, sign up for jump and drill. And that class has completely it's my favorite class. I take it every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. And I love it. It's great. It's kind of like kickboxing, but it's more boot camp style. So that was another class that I added into my workout schedule and I've been doing that for 2 years now. Okay.
So back in September, you get back in the gym, you start going to a couple classes. What did you do there? Did you change your diet at all? How often were you going to the gym at that point?
I really, once I got back into it, I was going like 5 times a week. And I would do at least a 60-minute workout. But I didn't change my diet. Like, I really left it with counting calories. And I did that up until this past December. I just stuck with it. And I think that's why it took me so long to lose weight. Okay,
yeah. And you said you were going and doing a 60-minute workout. Were you like exclusively doing classes? Okay.
I am someone that I was intimidated by the machines. I didn't know anything about them. I had the option to have somebody show me how to work with them, but I was shy about that. So I just never took advantage of that. And I kind of regret that now. I mean, since then I've taught myself and other people have shown me, but if you have that kind of opportunity, you really should take it because there is a lot to learn about the machines that are offered in the gym. And I also get really bored on the treadmill. I just won't do it.
Yeah.
I have to have like 5 distractions if I'm on the treadmill. So I just avoid it at all costs. But I was just sticking to fitness classes for the most part. Different ones, but yeah, just fitness classes.
Okay. So going forward from September, you were sticking to fitness classes. You kept the diet the same as it was. You just counted calories. How many calories were you taking in at that point?
Probably 1,500, I'm going to say.
1,500?
15, 16 max.
Okay. And how did you feel most days as far as energy levels and stuff like that?
I was fine. I mean, I survive on Starbucks, but there was a point when I started, like a lot of the people that I go to the gym with, they take 2 or 3 classes in a row. So we're there for 2 or 3 hours. And I remember one Saturday morning, our jump and drill instructor was teaching the class after it, which is an 1.5-hour interval training class. So cardio and weights. And they all stay for it. And they were like, stay, just try it out, see if you can do it. I did. I made it through the total 2.5 hours. I went home and I slept for a day and a half. I just didn't have the energy. It was a shock to my body. I was drained. But at the same time, I was like, okay, I can do this. And now I do it every single week. And I just kept pushing myself further. I didn't know what my limits were, so I just kept doing it.
And that's the cardio and weight class? And is that a class itself, or do you do that on your own now?
It's a class itself. It's every Saturday, so I take that after I take jump and drill. But now, on top of the classes that I take, I've started exploring with like making up my own circuit workouts and doing stuff on my own because I've learned so much in the past year and a half, and I love it. So I spend my free time looking up more workouts I can do, watching videos, reading blogs, like reading magazines and seeing and writing it down. I have a whole notebook and I just make up different things that I can do.
Okay. And I want to get to like how you transition from just going and doing some classes to where you're at now. But first of all, like back, I guess in September, you picked up the more classes, you started doing the cardio and the workout type thing. What were the next changes that you made?
I mean, I kind of was sticking with that routine. Like I really didn't change anything up. I had lost maybe a few more pounds. And then I guess it was last summer, another class was introduced, another like private class. And I took that, and that class just opened me up even further because it was it was a 30-minute class. But when I left there, I for the first time ever in my whole life, I thought I was going to throw up. Like it was the hardest thing I've ever done. It pushed me so far. And again, I made it through, and I haven't stopped. Like I just keep trying new things because I want to, like, I love it now. Like, it's like a rush.
Yeah.
But it was a class that involves battling ropes and vipers and TRX, and it's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. Ever.
Okay. Battling ropes is like when you're taking the ropes and like...
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. It's tough. I think they're like 10 or 15 pounds, but you don't realize when you're doing like 30 seconds as fast as you can how hard it is.
Okay. So, did you start taking that course or that class on like a continuing basis?
Yeah. At first, it was only offered Wednesday nights, and that started I think in June, and then by August it was because my schedule. I work in the city. So I have an hour and a half commute. So my days are like my schedule is all over the place.
Yeah.
It was offered at night, and then they also added a Saturday morning class. So I switched up the interval training class and took this class after jump and drill. So I was taking it twice a week, and it ended in November because the weather, because it's outside. And I felt so much stronger. Like I was doing things I couldn't do in the beginning. And then now I'm afraid that I've lost that because I haven't done the same things. I mean, I'm doing other things, but I don't know. Like just the feeling of knowing that you've improved so much in such a short period of time. It's really motivating.
Yeah. So back when you started that course with the TRX and the ropes and stuff, what was your like accumulated weight loss at that point?
I think I was at 30 pounds at that point. I had lost like 30, maybe 35, we'll say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what came next for you? When did diet come into the equation here?
I mean, I was watching what I ate like the whole time. I was experimenting with different recipes, but it was more of counting calories. And then my whole diet change came in December when I started eating clean. And now that's completely opened up a whole new world for me. And I am experimenting with, I never knew what a chia seed was before, or flaxseed or coconut oil. Like I've never even thought of these things. Like I knew Doritos and processed foods and, stuff like that. And I thought that was all good and, well for me because I was watching how much of it I had. But now that I started eating clean, everything has changed. It's a whole new world. So that started in December. Okay.
And how did you, make that decision? What motivated you to change your diet?
I was unhappy with how I hadn't been losing weight. Like I was like, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm doing what everyone else is doing. Everyone else around me is so much skinnier and is losing all this weight. And I'm trying hard in my head. I'm trying harder than everybody else. It's not fair. Like it's just not fair that I can't lose the weight. And there's been some discussion with my doctor that my thyroid levels are high, so they think that that might be working against me.
Yeah.
I haven't ventured further into that, but I had found Toneitup on YouTube a few months earlier, and I followed them, and I always wanted to join their like lifestyle plan, and I love the team that they have, but I just hadn't wanted to spend the money at the time. So finally in December, I was just beyond frustrated, and I started experimenting with it. And then I was like, okay, January 1st, a new change again. And that was January of this year.
Okay.
And that's when I started like really eating clean.
And where did you get all the, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that are like, I want to eat clean, but I just don't know what what is clean? Like I,
Right.
like there, oh, I'll eat a bunch of fruits, but you know, is that okay? Where
Right.
did you get all your ideas on that?
I spend a lot of time on the internet, like almost too much time at this
Hmm.
point. Like I just Google everything. I'm like, oh, like I'll see something on Twitter or I'll see something on Facebook or I'll see like I was reading a lot of beauty blogs then, but somehow it transitioned into fitness blogs once I started Just Keep Sweating. And I would just type in, like, I would hear them talk about something. I would type it in, like chia seeds, and I would research it and I would find articles and I would just research it until I became exhausted and knew everything that I could about it.
Hmm.
And basically, all the, like, if you type in Eat Clean into Google, you will find so many different, like, recipes or blogs or websites of giving you all the information you need. I mean, I want to study fitness and nutrition more than anything, but I feel like I have so much knowledge because of the internet and because of like the community that does it.
Hmm. Okay. With the Tone It Up YouTube channel, those are the two girls, right?
Karina and Katrina.
Okay, so did you subscribe to them and like you watched every video sort of thing?
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
watch their videos and I would watch them like on the train or on my free time, but I would never do the workouts, which
Hmm.
is weird, I know. But I would do it like I would watch them all the time and I would go on their website and I was like, I want the push and I want to do it. And the money just held me back, which is silly because it's really not even that expensive when you think about it. And I just became, again, I got to a point where I was so frustrated with myself and so unhappy with just how nothing was changing that I just bit the bullet and did it. And I'm so happy I finally did.
And was this January 1 that you got
Hmm.
involved with that? Yeah.
Yep.
And what is it that they offer?
Their diet plan is focused around eating clean, but it's more focused around what to eat when.
Hmm.
And I had never really thought about that before. I never thought about, like, they don't want you to have like certain things after certain times. And with each, I mean, you know, like through my research over the past 2 years and my journey, like I've learned to have like a carb, a protein, you know, your vegetables. You learn that the more you research and the more that you know, take notice. But I didn't realize how much protein I should have been having at my meals, how little carbs, when I should stop eating carbs. And I'm someone who loves carbs. I'm Italian. I love pasta. I love bread. Like, but that's like the worst thing for me. That's the one thing. As soon as I cut carbs out of my diet, I can lose weight like nothing else.
Yeah.
It's a hard reality, but I just stop eating it after a certain point in the day, and that
Okay.
helps.
Okay. So what was it like going on the Tone It Up diet plan?
Um, you know, because I had made so many changes to my diet like over the past 2 years, it wasn't a huge shock to me because I've always loved vegetables. Like I've always eaten spinach. I'd
Hmm.
never had kale before. And the first time I made it, it was awful. But I tried it again. Like I just didn't give up. And I just, after the first few days, my mom did it with me, which is great because we live together right now. And it's helpful when you live with someone who's doing the same exact thing as you.
Hmm.
It really makes a big difference. But my body just felt completely different. Like when I cut everything processed out of it, I had so much more energy. I was sleeping better. My workouts were so much better. I had so much more. It was great. It was a huge change, a huge eye-opening experience for me.
Yeah. And what was it like dealing with missing pasta or missing bread?
I was really strict with it the first like 3 weeks where I just wouldn't do it. I would have good carbs, you know, I would have like sweet potatoes or something like that. But slowly but surely, I introduced it back into my diet, and it hasn't made me gain weight. I
Hmm.
just, I'm not losing it as quickly. But again, like I said before, I can't deprive myself of anything, and I think that that's a huge weight loss thing for anybody, anyone who's following a diet or a lifestyle. You have to live. You have to live your life. You can't just think I can't have that because you'll want it more.
Yeah. Yeah. So when you went on the Tone It Up diet, did that kind of get you, because you've lost like 49, almost 50 pounds now?
Mhm.
Okay, so the Tone It Up diet, was that like the final 15 pounds?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it came off quick
Yeah.
too. Like it just, my body really responded to it. I mean, they say to eat stuff from the ground, eat from, your body responds better to it. And it's true. Like when you do cut chemicals and processed foods out, it makes such a huge difference. And the weight literally has melted off.
Hmm.
Like I can't believe how quickly it's happened.
Okay. And have there been any other changes you've made since starting on that diet?
Um, Dietary wise, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried new foods and I've learned how to cook differently because I love cooking. It's one of my favorite things to do. But like tonight, I'm making overnight oats for the first time ever, and I'm like beyond ecstatic about it. And I'm using my chia seeds, like stuff that I just never knew before. Like I would go to Whole Foods and I would say to myself, "Oh, it's from Whole Foods. It's healthy. I can eat whatever I want."
Hmm.
But I mean, and it is, and I love Whole Foods, but there's other things offered at Whole Foods that you have to experiment with, and it makes a huge difference.
Yeah. And what about your workouts now? What are those like? You're doing like 5 classes a week?
Yeah, because of my schedule and other things, like since starting Tone It Up, actually, I moved, I don't know why, but I've switched to morning workouts. During the week, I was doing a lot of night workouts. I would go after I got off the train. I left my car at the gym all day. So I would have to pass it on my way home, and I would feel guilty if I didn't go, which most of the time I really wouldn't skip it unless I was like really lazy. But I've switched to morning workouts, and I get up at least 4 mornings a week at 4:30 in the morning, and I'm in the gym by 4:55.
Ooh.
I know. Everybody like, and it sounds like it's crazy, but once you start doing it, it makes it's such a different world. Like I go get my workout done and I have energy and I feel great, and then I get through the work day and I can come home and just do whatever I want. Like I don't have to go to the gym and then unwind. Like I like it a lot better, and
Yeah.
I think my body has responded to that better too.
Okay. What about like accountability? Do you have friends that are going with you to the gym
Yeah.
in the morning as well?
Yeah, actually. I mean,
Okay.
when I first joined, it was my sister and my other friend, Jill. And then I convinced one of my best friend, Lauren, to join. And then through that, there were other girls our age that were taking the same classes. And you see the same people day in, day out, very small gym. Somehow you just become friends. And now there's a group of like 8 of us. We don't always all work out at 5 a.m. together. It's just normally me and Lauren. And my mom actually comes now at 5 a.m., which is awesome. But for the most part on the weekends, like we'll go out together the night before and we'll make sure we're in the gym at 8 a.m. the next day, no matter what. There's no excuse. Like we are there, hungover, whatever. We're still there no matter what time we got home.
Yeah. When we were starting Bodyhack, the founder, Julian, he had me do a bunch of surveys with people and talk to people that were either active in gyms or not active, and kind of see what the differences were, and you know what people were missing out on or whatever. One of the biggest things was having like a social group at the gym with you.
Yeah.
People that had that were like, they were all like on track, like they were reaching their goals. And everyone that didn't have that were like, oh, I go to the gym sometimes, but then I lose motivation and I stop.
You get bored. Like it's boring if you're working out by yourself. I mean, some people maybe prefer that, but I know personally for me, if they're at the gym taking a class and I decided to stay home, I get jealous. Or if I miss it because I'm commuting on the train, which happens with a few classes, I get really like, it makes me mad. I like that I'm missing out on a good workout and I know I'm missing it. But at the same time, like this past Sunday, we were out, we did a bar crawl we did like a crawl for cancer, and we were out drinking for 12 straight hours. And for girls that don't drink that often anymore because we work out so much, we didn't want to go Sunday morning, but I called Lauren and I said, listen, we don't have a choice. We're going. And we went. It was brutal. It was the worst 60 minutes of our life, but we sweated out. And the beer, all the alcohol just sweats out of your system. It's the quickest way to cure a hangover. You just have to get through it.
Yeah. Without yakking in the corner.
Right. Well,
yeah,
you have to learn to prevent too.
And sometimes you have to wear extra deodorant after.
Because you smell the beer and the sweat coming out of your body, and it's not pleasant.
Yeah. Okay, so when did you start Just Keep Sweating, your website?
Last June, actually.
So that was before the Tone It Up diet and everything? Okay. So you were really involved in the online world then? Yeah.
I mean, I've grown up in a very technical home. And I studied radio and television production in school. Like I've always just been very technical, and I just love that whole world. And there were people just my friends would tell me, or my mom's friends even, or family, that like I was motivating them and that I was so inspiring because I was losing all this weight and enjoyed what I was doing. And I'm just a very vocal person, so they all knew what I was doing all the time because I just put it on Facebook all the time. And they told me, they were like, you should start a blog. And at first I thought it was very strange. Like, why would I do that? Who cares? Like, who cares to read what I'm doing? But it was more that I started it for myself, and it was like a diary or a journal. And it was also a way for me to incorporate recipes because I like to cook. And it was like, I had no direction, but now I've kind of found it, and I like love it. I love blogging. I would do it all the time if I could.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
And what kind of a role has Twitter had? Because you're very active on Twitter.
I know. And you know what's funny? I never wanted anything to do with Twitter. I hated Twitter.
Yeah.
I thought Twitter was the stupidest invention. Like, that's not even a word. But I just thought I was like, why would anybody go on this when there's Facebook? You're just putting status updates every 5 seconds and other people are reading them. I don't know. But then once I got on Toneitup, I became very active on Twitter. And because a lot of the Toneitup like team is on there, and all the girls follow each other and they motivate each other, and you tweet with Karina and Katrina. And then I found other companies, like I found you guys and FitFluential, and now I'm like addicted to it. Now I'm tweeting every single thing that I'm doing all day long, like my pictures, and I don't know, it's just another thing to be addicted to.
Okay, so it's definitely like a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
That's kind of reinforcing all the changes you're making with fitness and health.
Yeah.
Okay,
like
that's cool.
I check in, and it keeps me accountable. And then it's also a way to connect with other people that may not even know who I am or know what my blog is. I mean, I went from when I first joined Twitter, obviously nobody has any followers, but now I have almost 500, which isn't even that much because there's some people that have way more than that, but that's a lot. Like, that's 500 people that see what I'm writing every single day outside of Facebook or my blog. And I mean, my blog in the past few months since being on Twitter has grown so much, and I've reached almost like 20,000 hits in the past like few months.
Wow. Which
is crazy to me.
Yeah. What future plans do you have for it?
I was fortunate enough to be given the scholarship to the Fitness Health Bloggers Conference in Denver, which is in June. And I get to meet a whole bunch of people that also do this. And I know that there's a lot of people out there who blog for a living and about fitness and health. And that is my ideal goal. Like, I never thought that this is where I would be, not even a year later, that's what I would think. But I love it. And I'm so dedicated to it. And I want so much more from it. I wish that I could do more with it. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm not offering enough to my readers, which I know isn't true, but I want so much of myself and of my blog that I don't know where I'll be, but I hope that it gets even, like, I hope more people will read it.
Yeah. Well, I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
All right. So if we could go back in time, if you could go back in time and talk to yourself when you decided to make all these changes, what sort of advice would you give yourself?
I mean, I think that one was don't go too extreme too fast. And, there's crash diets, and we're surrounded by it all the time. And I think that that's just not the way to go. And I wish that I didn't approach it the way that I did at first, but I didn't know anything else. I wish I researched more. I wish I had known about like bloggers and stuff. I wish I had known about all that 2 years ago, because whether they're certified in nutrition or training, these people do it, and they know what they're doing, and they just have really great information. And I wish that I had found it sooner, because I think it would have started me on the course I'm on now a lot sooner. And another thing, the reason my name on my blog is Just Keep Sweating. It's just don't ever give up. Like, just keep going.
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing. And I think it's a good motto to have, no matter what weight you are or where you are.
And if you could give yourself like a plan, like if you could go back and say, okay, this is what you're going to do every week. You're going to eat this type of stuff. You're going to eat this much calories or whatever. You're going to go to this website and learn as much as you can. What would you say there?
What's funny, when I first started, I didn't realize how much I could eat and lose weight. I was so focused on not eating, not eating, but like eating such minimal portions. Now I'm eating like every 2 hours, but like I wish I had known that, like, if what I was putting in my body and how much I was having matters more than, counting calories and stuff like that. And I wish that I pushed myself outside of my boundaries to try new things quicker and get in the gym quicker. Because it does, even if you're doing workouts in your home, and there's so many free things on YouTube that you can do. I wish I had known about all that sooner. I really do.
And what sort of, obviously the Toneitup girls on YouTube are people that you would recommend others that are looking to lose weight, look into, subscribe to their channel and stuff. What other places, obviously your website just keeps sweating, but what other places are really like the key places that you've really liked?
Pinterest, I've found so many workouts on, and I never thought, when I first joined Pinterest, I never thought anything of it. I never thought that I would find recipes and workouts, but that is a great place to find circuits and quick workouts and things to change up your workout routine. I also, on YouTube, I watch Bodyhack, not Bodyhack, what is
Body Rock.
Body Rock.
Yes.
I was watching them earlier. I was like, it's like fitness porn.
Yeah.
Like they get really into it, but it's great. I don't know if I could do some of the things that they do, but they focus a lot on working out at home for free. So I think that that's really great for a lot of people. Blogilates, I watch her a lot, and she does like Pilates and like cardio, and she's really cute and bubbly and fun to watch. Beck's Life is another one that I watch. There's just so many. Like, I learned a lot of it just by typing things into Google. That's really what you should do. Just Google everything in your life.
You know, I think if anyone's watching right now and they're looking to lose about 50 pounds, they have a pretty good roadmap of what they can do, what they can try out, you know?
I hope so. I mean, even if like one person at work helps one person, then my job is done.
What sort of things are you thinking about for the future, as far as, are there any new type of, like, do you want to try CrossFit or something like that? Do you want to try a new diet style? Yeah,
I mean, I would love to try CrossFit. I think one of my friends actually owns one locally. I'm afraid that I'm not there yet. Like, I couldn't handle it. But I watch videos of it, and like, I'm tempted to try it. But sometimes I get a little nervous. I would love to try CrossFit. I really want to I'm running my first 5K in 2 weeks, and I haven't been running since October. So I'm just doing it. I'm just jumping into it, see what happens. The worst thing is I have to walk. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than that. So I'll try it out. I would love to get more into running. I love to ride my bike. So I'd like to eventually, maybe someday, and I know I'm going to eat my words because somebody's going to make me do it, I'd love to do like a triathlon or a half marathon. But I don't know. I'm open to anything. Like, I would try anything at this point. I need to get into yoga because everybody tells me to try it. And I did it once in high school, and I laughed my way through it, which is awful. But I just don't have that kind of focus. And I think now that I'm so dedicated to fitness and all that, I think I could try it again, and I'd like to incorporate that. Okay. So I'd like to try everything.
Yeah. What about health, or not health, but like as far as diets? Is there anything new you want to try out, or are you pretty much happy where you're at?
I want to experiment more. I want to learn how to make more recipes of my own. Like, I love inspiration from other people, and then I try and I tweak it to make it more of my own. But I'm sure there are so many things that I don't know about out there. Like, I mean, I've learned so much in the past few months just from, Toneitup and stuff like that, and reading other people's blogs. I want to be that person for someone else. So I'm like just researching, and I just want to find new things and try new things all the time. I want to make like a hit recipe. Yeah. That sweeps the nation.
All right. What's your favorite recipe so far that you've come up with?
Oh man.
Hey, by the way, that salad that you posted, I think it was like a pinto bean salad or black bean salad. Oh, that looked really good.
It's so good. I mean, that I got from Clean Eating Magazine. I just tweaked it a little bit to make it my own. But it is, like, everybody who's tried it, it's so refreshing, and it's so good. It's just so delicious, and it's like perfect for right now because it's kind of getting warmer out. So it's like the best side dish, but love it. My favorite thing that I've had a lot of fun experimenting with protein shakes lately. I kind of just throw everything in a blender. Yeah. And that's the easiest way to learn. Like, I've had a few failures, but for the most part, I've been pretty lucky. I don't know. I just like to experiment in the kitchen. I just wish I had more time to do it.
All right. All right, let me see. Did I miss any questions here? Because I wasn't really looking at this thing.
I don't know.
We went through how you lost the weight. We went through the physical stuff you did, the diet. What about books? Did you read any books?
No.
No?
I didn't. I read magazines. I mean, I read a lot of magazines. I have a lot of subscriptions, but I don't read fitness or health books at all, actually.
All right.
I never thought to.
There's some good ones.
Yeah, I probably will do that now that you mentioned it. I mean, that's the thing, like I'm always looking to learn more or do more.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, last question then. How can people get in touch with you and stay up to date with what's going on in your life?
Well, just keepsweating.com, obviously. And I have contact information on there, and I love comments and I love getting emails. Like it makes me feel great, and I love being able to answer questions or give advice. Twitter. I'm always on Twitter. My phone goes off at all hours of the night, but I won't not respond right away because I feel like I'm missing out on something. So just keep sweating, but no T in the just. You can find me on, and Facebook, I have a fan page. You can find me on there. I guess I think that's everything covered. That's all the bases. You can find me anywhere, basically.
All right. Okay, Carlyn, it was awesome talking to you, and I think people are going to be like, oh, okay, here's something I can try. I've got a good little roadmap that I can move forward with now.
Well, they can do it. You can do it. Like anybody can do it. I was the most unmotivated, lazy, overweight, unhappy person, and I did it, and I'm still doing it, and I still have goals, and I have all new goals. So anybody can do it, and I really mean it. Mm-hmm. You just have to push yourself to take the first step, and then that's it. Just stick with it. Take it slow.
Consistency.
It took me 2 years.
Yeah. All right. Hope you enjoyed that interview. As always, to hear more, go to bodyhack.com, click the link to the blog. And if you know anyone with a good story, maybe they lost a bunch of weight, maybe they really know what they're talking about, or they're doing some crazy thing that we'd probably be interested in, go ahead and send me an email, spencer@bodyhack.com. Until I see you guys next time, take care, have fun, train hard. That's it. Bye-bye.